Just because I'm not 9 years old, isn't it? The purpose of this protest is to bring together ordinary people who are in work with those who are unemployed or disabled, to fight together for a decent standard of living and a life of dignity for everybody. Because tomorrow it will be workers who are asking to pay for a small pay increase. There'll be workers who are asking for a small pay increase of at least inflation, who will be attacked by this government and told that they are the main threat to the economy. But today it's the unemployed and it's disabled people who are being scapegoated as the cause of Britain's economic problems. Other speakers have said this today, but I don't think we can underline it enough. It is a lie that any of these people brought the recession down on our heads. The crisis was created in the banks and in the boardrooms of Britain's biggest companies. And it is that fact that the likes of George Osborne is desperate to prevent us from seeing. He used his autumn statement to try and distract us from that and to divide us. He urged us to literally turn on our neighbours when we are angry about the cuts that we are facing. The truth has been described already to a degree today. The truth is that according to the DWP, 90% of claimants of the old job seekers allowance find work within a year. The truth is that unemployment is not caused by the unemployed. It's the result of this failed capitalist system to do even the minimum of making sure that people have a job, that they can have an income, and that they can pay their bills. That's the cause of the 2.5 million people who are unemployed today. The reason there's unemployment is that there are 5 times more people out of work than there are vacancies for them to fill. And it's a disgusting lie that disabled people are scroungers. Anybody could become disabled. It takes one family event, one accident in work, and you are in the ranks of disabled people. That's why we need a system to make sure that if you do become disabled, that your needs are met. The truth is that Britain is not divided into shirkers and workers. It's not divided into the idle and the industrious, but it is divided. It's divided into the exploited and those who do the exploiting. There is fabulous wealth created in Britain, even in the midst of the recession. The problem isn't an absence of wealth. The problem is who has their hands on it. The problem is the monopoly of wealth obtained by the rich elite. The wealth increase of the richest, the increase in wealth, not their total wealth, of the richest 1,000 people in Britain today, since the onset of the recession, could wipe out the deficit completely. It would destroy any argument saying that there needs to be cuts to the NHS, to education, to the welfare state or anywhere else. Don't let anyone tell you that there's no alternative but to make these cuts. Now, I'm a socialist. I think that if they won't spend the money that they're hoarding in these bank accounts, that if the bosses who have monopolised the control of the wealth created in society won't do anything useful with it, then we should do something useful with it. We should get our hands on it. What about a 50% tax on the stashed cash to get our hands on that money to use to create useful jobs in the health service and in other parts of the public sector? Now, people are angry, and no wonder. In the same week we saw the MPs decide that that it would be justified for them to have a 32% increase in their pay. That's a £20,000 pay increase, when for a lot of people, the idea of a £20,000 total salary is completely pie in the sky. But it's just the latest outrage, isn't it? It's been described already about the expenses scandal, the various corruption scandal that have rocked the political world. How closely the Murdoch empire was tied to the politicians today. So how can they get away with it? Well, this is the last thing that I wanted to say. The only way they can get away with it is if we let them get away with it. The only way they get away with it is if we are not organised enough to stop them getting away with it. And I think we've taken a step forward to remedy that problem today with this protest. We've got to build up the fight against the cuts in Cardiff. We've got to build up Cardiff against the cuts. And I would urge everybody, take a leaflet, take as many copies as you like, advertise the annual general meeting that we've got on the 29th on Tuesday. Come along yourself and bring everybody else along to it. Because if we can build that force, if we can link up with the rest of Wales in Britain and internationally, we can bring down this cuts coalition and put a real alternative onto the agenda. Thanks very much.